eyes on her, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Because at the end of the day, we can't predict the future wide receiver.
She didn't want to take credit for all of those ratings, but we all realize that Caitlin Clark single-handedly is responsible for the WNBA mattering.
We're about to break down why the WNBA is struggling without Caitlin Clark. From plummeting ratings to empty arenas, we'll show you why this matters for the future of women's basketball. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You know what's crazy? The WNBA playoffs just kicked off and the ratings are a total mess. Game 1 of the Aces versus Liberty only got 929,000 viewers. That's half of what Caitlin Clark's first playoff game pulled in. Can you believe it? It's like the league lost its superstar, and now fans are turning off their TVs. This isn't just about one bad game. It's a wake-up call for the WNBA. If they can't keep fans watching without Clark, what does that mean for the future? But here's the thing. There's more to this story than just missing one player. We're gonna dive into the surprising reasons behind this ratings crash. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's talk about the Caitlin Clark effect. When she stepped onto the court, something unprecedented happened. Imagine a player so electric, she could draw millions of eyes to a sport overnight. What made her different from every other WNBA rookie in history? Well, the numbers are in, and they're absolutely mind-blowing. Clark's first playoff game, it pulled in a whopping 1.84 million viewers. That's a WNBA record, folks. But wait, it gets even crazier. Her second game, 2.54 million people tuned in. That's like the entire population of Chicago watching one basketball game. But here's where it gets really wild. Clark wasn't just a one-hit wonder. She averaged 1.78 million viewers per game.
Let's take those numbers, 1.84, 2.54 million, and compare them to the first weekend of playoff action without Caitlin Clark in the mix. Whole season, she just continually took the high road, and the ratings were phenomenal because of Caitlin Clark.
That's not just good, that's game-changing. We're talking about a rookie who's pulling in more eyeballs than some established stars. And it wasn't just about TV ratings. Clark's popularity was off the charts in every way. Her jerseys were flying off the shelves faster than you could say slam dunk. Some were selling for $375 a pop. That's not just a jersey, that's a status symbol. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does this compare to the rest of the league? Well, hold on to your hats because this is where it gets really interesting. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, became the most watched team in the WNBA.
That was down nearly 50% from last Sunday's Fever Sun contest. By the way, not only was viewership down, but attendance was as well.
And get this, the 14 most watched games of the season all had one thing in common: Caitlin Clark. But here's the kicker. The WNBA usually sees about a 40% increase in viewership during the season. With Clark, we're talking about a 400% growth. That's not just breaking the mold, that's shattering it into a million pieces. Kelsey Mitchell, Clark's teammate, put it best when she said, "I think the reality of it is that I don't think people would know without Clark." That's not just praise, that's a wake-up call for the entire league. And it's not just about popularity. Clark was making history on the court too. She became the youngest player ever to lead the league in assists. Oh, and she casually broke the record for most points by a rookie. No big deal, right? But here's where things get tricky for the WNBA. Clark's incredible impact has exposed a big problem: the league's over-reliance on a single star player. When one rookie can boost viewership by 400%, it shows that the WNBA hasn't been doing enough to promote its other talented players.
Eyes on her, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Because at the end of the day, we can't predict the future wide receiver.
Season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400%.
Clark's absence revealed a gaping hole in the WNBA's game plan. Suddenly, arenas were emptier than a rookie's highlight reel. What went wrong behind the scenes that left the league scrambling for viewers? The WNBA's marketing strategy just took a major L. They put all their eggs in one basket and now they're paying the price. It's like they forgot there are other stars in the league besides Caitlin Clark. Can you believe it? They've got a whole roster of incredible players, but you'd never know it from their promotions. Here's the deal. Fans are feeling left out in the cold. They're not seeing their favorite players getting the spotlight they deserve. It's like the WNBA forgot how to spread the love. And guess what? It's showing in the numbers. Playoff games are struggling to hit 500,000 viewers. That's not just bad, that's a disaster waiting to happen. You know what's even crazier? The arenas are looking emptier than a ghost town. Not a single playoff game has sold out without Clark on the court. It's like the fans are sending a message loud and clear. Hey WNBA, we want to see all the talent, not just one player. But wait, it gets worse. ESPN is losing faith faster than a fair weather fan. They're moving some playoff games to less popular channels. That's like demoting your star player to the bench. It's a clear sign they're not confident in the WNBA's ability to draw viewers without Clark. Let's break it down. The WNBA had a golden opportunity. They had this incredible surge of interest thanks to Clark, but instead of using that momentum to showcase all their amazing players, they dropped the ball. It's like they forgot the golden rule of sports.
If the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this year.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Fans are speaking up and they're not happy. They're feeling disconnected from the league. It's like the WNBA built this amazing house, but they only painted one room. Fans want to see the whole picture, not just one corner. Here's the thing. The WNBA has so much talent to offer. We're talking about players who can sink three-pointers like they're dunking donuts in coffee. There are rebounding machines who snatch balls out of the air like they've got magnets for hands. And don't even get me started on the defensive powerhouses who shut down opponents faster than a bouncer at an exclusive club. But if you're only watching the WNBA's marketing, you'd think it was the Caitlin Clark show featuring, well, just Caitlin Clark. Don't get me wrong, Clark is incredible. But she's not the only star in this galaxy. The result? Fans are tuning out. They're feeling like the league doesn't value their interests. It's a classic case of putting all your money on red and watching the ball land on black.
Playoffs. Let's stay here. Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated.
She didn't want to take credit for all of those ratings, but we all realize that Caitlin Clark single-handedly is responsible for the WNBA mattering.
The WNBA bet big on one player, and now they're facing a serious payout. This isn't just about numbers on a screen, it's about the future of women's basketball. The WNBA has the potential to be a powerhouse league, showcasing some of the best athletes in the world, but right now, they're playing like they've got tunnel vision. So what's the game plan from here? The WNBA needs to step up its marketing game, and fast. They've got to start showing off all their players, not just the flavor of the month. It's time to give every star their moment in the spotlight. Here's the kicker though. While the WNBA's been busy trying to find its next superstar, the fans have been busy too. They've got a whole list of problems with the league, and some of their ideas might just be crazy enough to work. Is the WNBA ready to listen? You won't believe what fans are saying about the WNBA right now.
Drew an audience of 929,000, according to ESPN. That is 50% less than the Fever's Game 1 against the Sun.
They're not just upset about the lack of star power. They're worried about the very foundation of the league. One fan dropped this truth bomb. How can you expect people to invest in a league that doesn't seem to care about its players? Ouch. That's not just criticism. That's a wake-up call. Let's break it down. Fans are watching these games and seeing some serious roughness on the court. We're talking about hits that would make an NFL linebacker wince. And the refs? They're letting it slide like it's no big deal. That's not just bad for the players. It's turning off the fans who want to see skill, not a wrestling match. But here's where it gets really interesting. The fans aren't just complaining, they've got ideas. And some of them are pretty smart. They're saying, hey, WNBA, why don't you show us more of your players? All of them, not just the big names. It's like they're begging for a reason to fall in love with the whole league, not just one or two stars. And get this, they want to feel closer to the action. They're talking about virtual meet and greets, behind-the-scenes content, the whole 9 yards. It's like they're saying, we want to be part of this, but you've got to let us in. Now here's where things get serious. The WNBA is at a crossroads. They've got to make some big decisions and fast. It's not just about getting through this season, it's about setting up the league for long-term success. And right now, The fans are giving them a roadmap. Imagine if the WNBA took these ideas and ran with them. Picture a league where every player gets their moment in the spotlight, where fans feel like they're part of the team, not just watching from the sidelines, where the games are intense, but players aren't getting knocked around like pinballs. But here's the million-dollar question. Is the WNBA ready to make these changes?
Foul call. No refs stopping the game to go. Is this a flagrant? None of that. Just everybody moved on.
Are they willing to shake things up and try something new? Because let's be real, what they're doing now isn't working. The empty seats and low ratings are screaming for a change. One fan summed it up perfectly. The WNBA is not going to succeed if this is all that it is. That's not just criticism, that's a challenge. It's like they're daring the league to be better, to be bigger, to be bolder. And you know what? This could be the lifeline the WNBA needs. If they listen to these fans, if they make these changes, they could turn this whole ship around. We're talking about a league that celebrates all its players, protects them on the court, and makes fans feel like they're part of something special. All right, let's talk about the wake-up call the WNBA just got hit with. This ratings disaster, without Caitlin Clark, it's not just about losing one star player. It's like the league forgot they had a whole team of amazing athletes. Here's the deal. The WNBA put all their eggs in one basket, and now they're scrambling. They've got to start showing off all their players, not just the flavor of the month. Imagine if every game felt like a must-watch event, no matter who's on the court. You know what's crazy? If the WNBA fixes these problems, they could change the game for women's basketball. We're talking about a league that celebrates all its stars, protects its players, and makes fans feel like they're part of something big. That's not just good for the WNBA, that's a slam dunk for women's sports everywhere.